Okay. So, did you read the question? थोड़ा
Yes, sir.
latest question है, right? This Trool company question is relatively new. Let's see what are they asking. Oh, I haven't pasted the whole thing, my bad. Respond to the CEO of Trool's request for work on the following areas: cost benefit analysis, culture and accounting systems, and appraisal system. The instructions are always found within the exhibits, not in the requirement in APM. That is, I'm sure, one thing that you have observed. Now, Trool is a manufacturer of money counting machines based in the country of Reland. Trool supplies many of the major banks and other businesses. Trool is in a difficult market, competing with a number of domestic and foreign businesses. Trool has chosen a strategy of cost leadership in order to continue its growth. Trool has been in business for more than 50 years, owned by the same family. There is a kuch pointers that are important. What does it do? It is a manufacturer of money counting machines. ठीक है. It is in a difficult market मतलब lot of competition. What is the strategy? Cost leadership is the strategy. ठीक है. There is a strong sense of tradition and loyalty to the family amongst the workforce. The average time that an employee has worked for the firm is 15 years. ठीक है. 50 years का बिजनेस है, फैमिली बिजनेस है. ठीक है. स्ट्रॉन्ग ट्रेडिशन ऑफ strong sense of tradition and loyalty to the family amongst the workforce. Average time that an employee has worked for the firm is 15 years. However, this has led to a static and bureaucratic culture. For example, the company's information systems are mainly paper based. ठीक है. In line with this traditional business culture, the organization is divided into a set of functional departments, including production, warehousing, distribution, human resources, and finance. In order to achieve Trool's overall strategy, the chief executive officer has decided that there needs to be a re engineering of the processes. She decided that this project should begin with the company's distribution department. Once this has been completed, the other departments will then be similarly re engineered one after another. As part of the BPR exercise, a new information system has been introduced in the distribution department to replace the existing paper based system. The new system allocates drivers, vans, and routes through a new artificial intelligence algorithm which claims to achieve significant efficiencies. The system also automatically checks outgoing goods dispatch notes against purchase orders, thereby removing the possibility of mistakes in delivering the wrong goods to the customer. ठीक है. The CEO has asked you as a performance management expert to complete the post implementation review of BPR of the distribution department by performing a financial cost benefit analysis. ठीक है. आपको क्या करना है? Complete the post implementation review, perform a financial cost benefit analysis. To assist you in this project, the project manager has supplied you with her notes on the processes and costs within the distribution department under the old and new systems. Appendix 1, I'm sorry, I again forgot to post. एक second दो मुझे. Let's look at Appendix 1. It's given in Exhibit 5. It has been identified that two of the distribution staff spend all of their time creating efficient travel routes for deliveries and allocating drivers and vans. It was noted that 4% of all delivered goods were queried by customers as they were not the goods that were ordered. One manager in the customer service department spent some time dealing with such problems. The annual budget for the cost of distribution department is 2.1 million. Average annual staff wage in the distribution department is 30,000. The customer service manager spends 4 days per week handling queries relating to the wrongly delivered goods. Customer service manager annual wages are 42,000 for working a 5-day week. Hard notes relating to new system hardware, software, annual ongoing servicing. It is expected that new system will last for 5 years. Cost of retraining schedule Cost of retraining scheduling staff in new duties. Initial cost of training staff in use of new system. Annual budgeted ongoing training cost of new system. ठीक है. सो व्हाट यू हैव टू परफॉर्म इज यू हैव टू परफॉर्म अ कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस सबसे पहले एज अ पार्ट ऑफ द बिजनेस प्रोसेस री इंजीनियरिंग एक्टिविटी. ठीक है. सो इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द कॉस्ट. ठीक है. कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस में लिखो हार्डवेयर आएगा, सॉफ्टवेयर आएगा. ठीक है. हार्डवेयर टोटल कॉस्ट इज 50,000. Software total cost is 185. It is expected that new system will last for 5 years. So what should you do? You should depreciate slash amortize, right? 50,000 cost upon 5 years. Software 1,85,000. 37,000. 1,85,000 cost upon 5 years. ठीक है. एनुअल ऑनगोइंग सर्विसिंग कॉस्ट फुल इंक्लूड होगा. कितना डालना है? 23,000. देन कॉस्ट ऑफ रिट्रेनिंग स्टाफ इन न्यू ड्यूटीज ये इंक्लूड होगा. कॉस्ट ऑफ रिट्रेनिंग scheduling staff in new duties. Then initial cost of training staff in use of new system and annual budgeted ongoing training cost of new system. इसमें से क्या क्या इंक्लूड करेंगे बताइए.
सर ऑनगोइंग ट्रेनिंग कॉस्ट।
Ongoing training cost. Okay. ये 1,000 होगा. And this system will last 5 years. Cost of retraining staff in new duties and initial cost of training staff in use of new system total 3,500. ये भी amortize हो जाएगा over a period of 5 years, right? Because these are one-off training cost है ना. $3,500, which is 2,500 plus 1,000 distributed over 5 years. ठीक है. टोटल कितना होगा? टोटल कॉस्ट 71,700. ठीक है. अब लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द बेनिफिट्स दैट यू विल गेट. द कॉस्ट सेविंग्स बेसिकली दैट विल हैपन. देख के बताइए. Now, it has been identified that two of the distribution staff spend all of their time creating efficient travel routes. The annual budget for cost of, no, sorry, average annual staff wages in the distribution department is 30,000. So these two people who were, doing efficient travel route allocation, deliveries, allocating drivers and vans, जिनका wage cost था 30,000. ठीक है. 30,000 into 2 staff cost कितना हो जाएगा? 60,000. That cost will be saved. ठीक है. This is the cost part. Cost incurred for new system, benefits from new system, कितना है? benefits from new system, saving of salary of distribution staff, ठीक है, saving of salary of distribution staff, 30 into 2, 30,000 into 2, है ना? What else is there?
Customer service.
Customer service. It was noted that 4% of all delivered goods were queried by customers as they were not the goods that they ordered. One manager in the customer service department spent some time dealing with such problems. The annual budget for the cost of distribution department is 2.1 million. Customer service manager annual wages are 42,000 for working a 5-day week. Customer service manager spends 4 days per week handling queries relating to wrongly delivered goods. What is the expectation? The expectation is कि ये जो wrongly delivered goods है, अब वो that will go away, right? With the new system coming in, that issue will go away. 5-day week में उसका 4 days जाता है in handling queries relating to wrongly delivered goods. तो that cost, that time that he was spending for handling the issues relating to wrongly delivered goods, वो टाइम उसका सेव होगा. सो दैट कॉस्ट कैन नॉट बी एलोकेटेड हियर. ठीक है. सो कस्टमर सर्विस कॉस्ट. ठीक है. इसमें हम क्या करेंगे? वील डू 42,000 इंटू 4/5. ठीक है. सो कॉस्ट incurred इज 42,000 इन कस्टमर सर्विस डिपार्टमेंट. Earlier, 4 days out of 5 were being spent on customer service. ठीक है. Now, with new system coming in, this time will be saved. So, cost will not be allocated for handling handling incorrect deliveries or handling wrong deliveries. ठीक है. So, that much cost will not be allocated to this department, counting as कॉस्ट सेविंग. ठीक है. कितना होगा? 42,000 इंटू 4/5, दैट इज 33,600. सो टोटल सेविंग अगर मैं बोलूं, जिसको आई कैन ऑल्सो कॉल बेनिफिट, वो कितना होगा? वो हो जाएगा आपका 93,600. कॉस्ट 71,700, दिस इज 93,600. व्हाट इज द नेट बेनिफिट? नेट बेनिफिट होगा 93,600 माइनस 71,700. कितना हो जाएगा? 21,900. ठीक है. नाउ this BPR will lead to a net benefit of 21,900. So basically that means that the project is financially successful. But this net benefit for BPR is how much? It is 21,900, whereas annual budget for the cost of distribution department is 2.1 million. So it's only 1% of the budget, right? So जो total overall budget है उसका सिर्फ 1% cost saving हो रहा है. Also, this analysis, it does not include benefit of the intangible benefit of reduction of customer complaints, right? So customers remaining dissatisfied or customers getting disgruntled and shifting to other suppliers, वो वाला issue अब नहीं होगा, right? So that will basically lead to improvement of customer relationship, and in the long run, do you agree that it will most probably bring in new customers, because you will have a positive word of mouth in this case, right? So these are some of the other benefits which the cost benefit analysis does not take into consideration. ठीक है. इसको एक बार देखो. Look at this part. I'll be back in a moment. देख लिया ईशान?
Yes, sir.
Then something relating to culture and accounting systems. ठीक है. As BPR is applied across Trool, CEO is worried that staff unrest may result from these changes. For example, the distribution schedulers were uncomfortable with the change in their roles, which resulted from the new information system in the department. The schedulers were moved to duties such as checking driver's logs and reviewing maintenance checks. The CEO would like your assessment of how the BPR process will change the culture and accounting information system at Trool. Now, what is happening here, Ishan? क्या change हो रहा है and why do you think that could have an impact on culture, so to say?
Sir, because the employees are trained to work the old traditional styles, that is of the paper styles. They are not trained for working with the systems, the software.
Okay,
So they are now being like moved to the different job, which is just reviewing maintenance checks and that check.
okay. See, what BPR basically involves is it has a fundamental rethinking, right? Radical redesign of business processes. Now, the core principle is that it's going to change the way business is happening, है ना? अब यहाँ पे when you are looking at the business process restructuring or business process re-engineering, see, BPR should ideally focus on the business as a whole, है ना? BPR has to be cross functional, right? BPR cannot be localized with one particular area in the system, है ना? सिर्फ एक इश्यू को आप टैकल कर रहे हो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए फॉर बीपीआर. बीपीआर हैज टू बी फॉर द एंटायर सिस्टम. यहाँ पे बीपीआर somehow seems focused mostly on the distribution systems. Do you agree? बीपीआर
Yes.
का पूरे मतलब एटलीस्ट इन द डेटा दैट इज गिवन टू अस, नो इन्फॉर्मेशन व्हाटसोएवर हैज बीन गिवन कि यार बाकी के एस्पेक्ट्स पे इसका क्या इम्पैक्ट हो रहा है, राइट? दैट पार्ट दे हैव नॉट मेंशन्ड एनीवेयर. Then, so when we start this answer, we'll have to begin with A. First of all, what all does BPR include? BPR में क्या क्या आता है? What do we mean by that? BPR में आता है fundamental redesign, पूरा like I would say, a head to toe redesign of services and activities that is happening. Correct? और कुछ नहीं है. So these are not small incremental changes that are taking place in the system, right? These are large company-wide, मतलब पूरा का पूरा approach has to be changed. It cannot focus just on distribution function. There is no evidence or no discussion whatsoever on whether other activities or other functions have been taken into consideration. Now, when you implement BPR throughout the organization, see, it has to be like a sudden complete change. You cannot have like small gradual changes across the organization. If you are doing that, uh, then you are not basically doing any justice to the very idea of business process re-engineering. ठीक है. तो ये सबसे पहला वीकनेस है इन द अप्रोच दैट ट्रूल कंपनी हैज अंडरटेकन. नाउ बिजनेस, see, the whole perspective of the whole perspective has to change when you are going to BPR. You are moving from functional departments to process teams, right? Your hierarchy will have to change. There will have to be other implications for employees also. You have to retrain them. uh, the culture at this particular company, Trool, it seems, more or less set hai. They are, set in the way they are doing things, and they are not. It seems like, see, it's a legacy company, right? बहुत सालों से ये कंपनी ऐसे ही फंक्शन कर रहा है. There is a strong adherence to tradition. If you remember in the initial paragraph, they specifically mentioned that the company as a whole uh, focuses on tradition and loyalty, and basically it seems like a company which is stuck in its ways, which wants to do things in a certain way. So when business process re-engineering happens, there is going to be a huge cultural slash fundamental shift in the organization, right? So if there is going to be a huge cultural slash fundamental shift in the organization, this company, the way it is functioning right now, does not appear to be ready for that, right? आपके accounting systems भी change हो गए. You will have to, eliminate non-value adding activities. You will have to identify those activities, where customers see more benefits, and you will have to realign your work and processes accordingly. आपका budgetary controls का approach change हो जाएगा, right? So the entire approach will change, and a company which is rooted in tradition, a company which is focused on their age old values, might not be the best, might not have the best culture fit for tackling the changes that are brought in by business process re-engineering. ठीक है? So क्वेश्चन में क्या पूछा था? क्वेश्चन में आपको पूछा था कि व्हाट्स गोइंग टू बी द इम्पैक्ट ऑन कल्चर एंड अकाउंटिंग सिस्टम्स। अच्छा, यहाँ पे एक और पॉइंट दैट इज नेसेसरी। इधर देखो, पेपर बेस्ड इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम्स है, एंड विद बीपीआर what is going to happen is it is all going to go system based, so naturally there is going to be some resistance to this change, correct? So approach of employees is also going to be different. They might not be willing to shift from a paper based system to a कंप्यूटर बेस्ड और मशीन बेस्ड सिस्टम, तो वहां पे भी देयर विल बी सम रेजिस्टेंस टू चेंज। डू यू अग्री?
Yes.
चलो एक बार हैव अ लुक।
Sir, can you please scroll down?
श्योर। ठीक है ईशान।
Yes.
ओके, अब लास्ट पार्ट है अप्रेजल वाला। अप्रेजल सिस्टम 6 मार्क्स। देखो तो, Concerns about culture and change at Trool have led to long discussions about human resource management. At the board meeting, other directors expressed worries about the appraisal system and staff turnover, which the CEO wants to discuss further. Existing system of appraisal is for staff to have an annual meeting with their line manager to review the previous year's work and discuss generally how to improve their efforts. The result of this is an action plan for employee development and a decision on the bonus to be paid, which can be up to 2% of base salary. Over the years, it has become common for these meetings to be informal and held over lunch at the company's expense. Around 90% of the staff receive the full 2% bonus. CEO wants advice on the usefulness of current appraisal process at Tool and why staff turnover is a bad thing. See, what is appraisal? What happens in appraisal is you collect the data about the work performed by the employee, his performance. You review that with respect to the targets that were given to him, right? And it presents an opportunity to discuss, his performance, his motivation, his adherence to company culture, and determining कि उसको hike और bonus कितना मिलना चाहिए. ठीक है. Now, see, there is all you always need some tool for performance assessment. ठीक है. But appraisal systems will have to basically be able to measure his actual output, right? The current system is very informal, if you have noticed, है ना? Both cannot take it seriously because 90% of the employees को 2% bonus मिल रहा है, right? And the small size of performance bonus is, see, it's not as if they are getting a huge bonus, so nobody really cares. They are conducted over a lunch meeting, and they are given a verdict, and most of them end up getting the full bonus. So if you want to make that appraisal relevant, it needs to be seen as a means of staff control, right? You have to link their performance with their uh, rewards, है ना? The appraisal and rewards have to go, मतलब the rewards and the performance have to go hand in hand. The target also needs to be challenging, and the reward that you get after fulfilling that target, that also has to be in line with the effort that you have put in, है ना? So basically, when that happens, the important point is कि आपका अप्रेजल सिस्टम यहाँ पे कैसा चल रहा है. अप्रेजल सिस्टम तो ऐसा चल रहा है कि यार लंच मीटिंग में आओ, बात करो और अपना 2% का चेक लो और निकल जाओ. आई मीन, इवन इफ माई सैलरी इज 50 लाख रुपीज, 2% ऑफ दैट इज हाउ मच, 1 लाख ना. आई डोंट रियली केयर फॉर दैट 1 लाख. I mean, who would care, right? So appraisal system has to be made in a way that there has to be a fair link between the rewards and the performance. अगर आपके टारगेट्स चैलेंजिंग है तो ही, एंड द रिवॉर्ड्स आल्सो हैव टू बी इक्वली अट्रैक्टिव. ठीक है. सो व्हाट इज, एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स you have to understand that staff turnover here also has to be, see, the second point that they have asked is staff turnover. Why is staff turnover a problem? Staff turnover means employees are leaving the company. बड़ी मुश्किल से you train the employees. You get them to understand the culture of your company. ठीक है. You train the employees, you get them to understand the culture of the company. They take some time to understand how the company is working, to know what the policies and procedures of the company are. And by the time they become proficient in this, by the time they understand how things are working and they can actually contribute to the growth of the organization, it stops, है ना? तब तक if they have left the organization, then what is the point? You lose the entire relevance of the whole process. So when we talk of appraisal systems, we discussed how they should be and why is staff turnover a bad thing. And I believe that was the request coming from the team कि CEO wants advice on the usefulness of current appraisal process. आपको बताना है कि बेकार है. Very clearly we can see why the system is not really working out, and why is staff turnover not why is staff turnover not a good indication for the organization. Have a look. ठीक है। मेक सेंस ईशान?
Yes.
ओके।